The initials on the cover and dedication of Shakespeare's sonnets have always been assumed to stand for the publisher Thomas Thorpe, but they also appear in Sonnet 122 at the end, or rather the beginning of an Encryption, and it doesn't make sense that he had put them there. In each set of these initials, the first letter T, or tau, is printed differently than the one following it. When Alexander Waugh decrypted this, the line read, "By God and Oxford's 17 Earl." The two T's are in different fonts. The second T is in the same font as the G, and when the line's decrypted, the two letters form this character for God. It's drawn as G, T, for gamma tau. The printing of the initials in the dedication can be interpreted a few different ways. First, they appear as two T's, or double taus, but the first initial is printed in a way so as to resemble the Greek letter for G, or gamma. The beginning of the cross line is drawn only about half the distance as it should to make the complete letter for T. Interpreted as GT, or gamma tau, these are the same letters that form the character for God on the cover. Sonnet 122 begins with a double tau spelling of the word thy, spelled TTHY. This is the beginning of an encryption that I explained in the previous video. The second 2 in 122 is actually a reversed S, and when the message is decrypted, it's in Hebrew and read from right to left, spelling Yehi or, meaning fiat lux, or let there be light. Similar in the way that the second 2 is a reversed character, this T or tau is also a reversed G or gamma. So the double tau that begins the word thy is also a gamma tau, giving us for a third time the same character for God found on the cover and dedication. So because of the way they're printed, each of these double tau initials can also be interpreted as GT or gamma tau, giving us the character for God on each page. Manipulating letters to give them other meanings is something John Dee does in Monos Hieroglyphica. In Theorems 16 and 17, he uses the character for V as the same character for L. Together they form a cross and can also make the letters LVX, spelling looks, or light. Regarding the initials as two-letter T's, it's long been suggested that these are symbols of Freemasonry representing the twin pillars of Solomon's temple, Yakin and Boaz, the entrance to wisdom. Hebrew characters are given additional meaning by the way they're drawn. The 8th character of the Hebrew alphabet is Het. It's said to resemble a fence or gate, and in Jewish mysticism, it's believed represents a gateway to light. How this is related to the double tau is, in Greek, the 8th letter is Eta or H. It's comprised of two T's on their sides. Since Het, a gateway, is the 8th Hebrew letter, and Eta, H, formed by two T's, is the 8th Greek letter, the two T's of the double tau therefore represent the gateway to light, symbolized by Het. They're also connected by another kabbalistic method of Tamura called Becker, or the Kabbalah of 9 chambers. When this is applied, letters become occultly linked and can be exchanged with other letters in their group. Also, their numerical values can be interchanged. Therefore, Het, with a value of 8, enumerates to 800. In Hebrew, Tav or Tau is equal to 400. Two taus or double tau is equal to 800. So by the shared value of 800, Tau and Het are connected. So numerically and symbolically, these double taus are equal to the letter Het, the gateway to light, and each of these double taus represent gateways to the encryptions that follow on their pages. The initials in the dedication can be interpreted as either two T's or a G and a T. If we consider them as two T's or a double tau, we get another clue. In ancient Rome, the character for 50 was drawn as an upward arrow and at some point became a downward arrow. By the time of Augustus, the downward arrow was flattened into an inverted T and soon after became identified with the letter L. This next footage is from a video by Alexander Waugh entitled Shakespeare's Funerary Urn Discovered. Alexander Waugh is able to demonstrate that the dedication is actually a drawing of De Vere's funeral urn by outlining the text. He also removes the two initials and adds a Kairos symbol. In the Acts of the Apostles, followers of Jesus are accused of turning the world upside down. Some believe God made the world upside down so that Jesus could make the world right side up. With this in mind, I suggest keeping the initials, and instead of rotating the page, we flip it, turning it right side up. Jesus is the light of the world, and if we hold the page right side up to a light, the two T initials become two L's. Again, the letter L comes from the inverted T character, so the T's, now inverted, are two-letter L's. With Gematria, the letter L is equal to 11. Add them together and get 22, which is a significant number pertaining to mysticism in certain secret orders. There's 22 paths on the kabbalistic tree of life, there's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and the Golden Dawn's Rosy Cross has 22 petals, each bearing a letter from the Hebrew alphabet. Also with Gematria, the 22nd letter is Y, which is the first letter of the sonnet number code. The Pythagorean Y is something D was familiar with. This is from Geoffrey Torrey's Field of Flowers, a book D had in his library. It's a letter that contains a moral lesson about vice and virtue. D incorporates this and is addressed to Maximilian at the beginning of Mona's Hieroglyphica, naming it the Tree of Rarity. Could the number 22 be referring to the importance of this letter? Thing is, the dedication outlined is a funeral urn. L is equal to 11, and the characters are printed next to each other. Putting their number values side by side, there's 4 1s. Simply adding them in order, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4, and 4 in German is Vere. Turned right side up, this is Edward de Vere's funeral urn, his name Vere encoded in the initials. Interpreted this way, the remaining initials are 4 T's, or FORTIS, which is another de Vere reference covered in the previous video. For now, I want to end with, in my previous video, I have the Gematria, the sonnet number code as Christos FIAT LVX. I only recently discovered the Gematria character for God at the beginning of the encryption. Now I see that when this character is included, the message actually begins with God, followed by Yihi or, then Cairo, which translates to God, Fiat Lux Christos. This balances the message further, with God at the beginning and Christos at the end, first and last, Alpha and Omega.